The true story of Francis, a man of love, mercy, and quiet strength. From a poor boy in Argentina to the Pope of the world. This is the story of Francis. He was born in Buenos Aires, not in a palace, not in comfort, but in a small house filled with love. His name was Jorge Mario Bergoglio, the son of Italian immigrants. His father worked on trains. His mother cared for the home. He was the oldest of 5 children. He helped in the kitchen. He cleaned the floor. He studied with a quiet smile. The streets were dusty. The windows were thin. But his heart was full. He had little, but he never felt poor. On Sundays, the family went to church. He loved the silence, the smell of candles, the sound of old songs. As a child, he didn't dream of being famous. He didn't want power. He just wanted peace and to be close to God. He walked slowly, listened deeply, and even when the world was loud, he remained still. That boy, with simple shoes and soft eyes, would one day carry the world on his shoulders. As a teenager, Jorge got sick. It was serious. He was weak. He could barely breathe. He spent days in bed, alone, afraid, wondering if he would live. One night, he made a promise. If I live, I will give my life to God. And he did. When he got better, he changed. He became quiet, more thoughtful, more focused. He didn't chase attention. He avoided noise. He walked slower, but with purpose. At school, people noticed. He listened more than he spoke. He smiled gently. He helped without being asked. At 21, he entered the seminary. It wasn't easy. He had doubts. He missed his family. He felt small. But inside, something was growing, a quiet fire, a strong faith. He didn't want to be seen. He wanted to serve, not with big speeches, but with small kindnesses. No one imagined what was coming, not even him. Jorge became a priest, but he wasn't like the others. He didn't wear fancy robes. He didn't talk about power. He talked about people, about pain, about mercy. He walked through poor neighborhoods. He sat with the lonely. He hugged the sick. He listened more than he preached. He used the train. He carried his own bag. He never asked for special treatment. He just showed up quietly. People started to notice, not because of his title, but because of his heart. He spoke with simple words, but those words stayed in people's minds. One day, a boy asked, "Why are you always helping strangers?" Jorge smiled and said, "Because they are not strangers to God." He led with kindness. He led with silence. He never rushed. He walked slowly because he walked with those the world forgot. and step by step, without asking, he became a leader. The world was watching. The Pope had stepped down. The seat was empty, and the Vatican waited. Powerful men gathered, big names, famous bishops, known voices. But far from the spotlight, Jorge sat in silence. He didn't want to lead. He didn't expect to be chosen. And then they said his name. Bergoglio. He was quiet. He looked down, and then he whispered, "May God forgive you for what you've done." The world didn't know him, but they would soon. He walked out onto the balcony. He didn't wave like a king. He didn't shout. He just smiled. And then he bowed his head and asked the world to pray for him. He chose the name Francis, the first to ever do so, a name of peace, a name of poverty, a name of love. People cried, people cheered, not because he was powerful, but because he was different. Rome expected a ruler, but they got a shepherd. He stood in gold halls, but his heart was in the streets. He had the power of a pope, but he chose to be small. He visited prisons, held the hands of the poor, washed the feet of refugees, and kissed the faces of children with no home. He said, "The church is not a museum. It must be a field hospital for broken hearts." People listened, not just Catholics, not just believers, but humans, tired, hurt, forgotten humans. He spoke about the planet, about hunger, about justice. He said, "Build bridges, not walls." Some didn't like it. They said he was too soft, too simple, too political. He spoke about the planet, about hunger, about justice. He said, "Build bridges, not walls." Some didn't like it. They said he was too soft, too simple, too political. Not everyone loved him. Some said he changed too much. Others said he changed too little. He walked a narrow road, and it was heavy. People judged his words, twisted his silence, used his mercy as a weapon. Still, he forgave. He grew slower, his steps more careful, his voice softer, but his message never stopped. "Be kind," he said, "even when the world isn't." Behind closed doors, he felt tired. Some days the weight was too much, too many problems, too many expectations. He never asked for applause. He never wanted a throne. But still, he carried the church and all who came to him with pain. He sat alone often, looking out the window, not as a pope, but as a man who loved deeply and suffered quietly, because that's what love does. On April 21st, 2025, the world went quiet. News spread fast. but hearts slowed down. He was gone, the man who smiled more than he spoke, the Pope who walked when others ran, the voice that never needed to shout. People cried, not just for a leader, but for a friend. They remembered the hugs, the tears he wiped, the words he chose so carefully. Who am I to judge? Pray for me. Be not afraid of tenderness. In cities and villages, candles were lit. Bells rang, heads bowed. Not everyone agreed with him, but everyone felt him. Because he gave what power rarely gives, mercy. And now the chair is empty, but the love remains. He didn't leave riches. He didn't leave monuments. He left something greater, an example. He came from a small house in Argentina. He walked with the forgotten, and the world called him Pope. Francis, the gentle voice who carried us all. What did you think of Francis's story? What touched you the most about his journey? Have you ever known someone who lived with such quiet strength? Tell us in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If this story moved your heart, and if you enjoy emotional stories in English like this one, please like the video. Share it with someone you care about. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss the next chapter. Thank you for watching. We hope to see you again soon. Remember, life is emotional. So live your story.